had 10,000 stations, and I thought maybe it was that one, but I don't use it anymore.
Well, the article actually mentions that one of the guys left in 2019 or in 2017 and created his own called I Stream It All, which is a name that I've heard before. I didn't pay any attention to it, but maybe that's the one you're thinking of, Chester. Or how long ago was it you were using one, Chester?
Oh, I would say 9 months.
Oh, okay.
Nope. I quit using it. I originally picked it up so I could watch football games, but I decided it was too much trouble to figure out.
Hey, Jim, I'm glad you're able to join us. Did you? Oh, we can't hear you though. You're muted. You're still muted.
There we go.
All right.
Sorry to be late.
No worries. We're just getting started. In fact, I just hit the button for YouTube, so I should re-announce this is the San Carlos Computer Club, and we've been chatting for a few minutes, but that's no more than that. Just working out technical difficulties and kind of getting organized here. The document, I brought a couple of topics along. Jim, have you brought any topics?
Yeah, actually, I do. You may recall about 6 months ago, you and I talked about a new computer I bought, need to get set up, and you were out of town for a couple of weeks, and then I got that cellulitis, and I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and anyway, never got done. So I finally got it set up here in Longmont at Best Buy, and yesterday I opened up and the screen said we need to set up some more things with your Microsoft account. And all of a sudden I'm frozen on let's add your Microsoft account. I can't get into Authenticator and actually get the code that it sends to Authenticator, and I'm locked out.
Oh no. Oh no. That's frustrating. Do you have the Authenticator app on your phone?
I might. Hold on a second. Let's look.
Yeah. Because if you've gotten involved with the Microsoft Authenticator, then it would be good to have that handy on your phone. Because you're not.
Well, I have never gotten it Authenticator actually functioning for me, and
Sure.
I should have raised that question months ago.
Well, all I know is you can't run Authenticator on the device you're trying to authenticate. So you're gonna have to run it on a separate device.
Okay, when I open it up on my phone, it says ready to add your first account. Any Microsoft account or other type of account you add will appear here.
So,
and if I hit add account, this is on my phone. If I hit add account, it says recovery will be disabled on this device.
That's interesting. I'm not sure what that means.
If you add an account, you will no longer be able to recover from the device name, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, etc.
If you add, yeah, I'm trying to read. Recovery will be disabled on this device. Hold on a second. This is really strange. I've not seen that before. Maybe you've got Authenticator already associated with another device. I don't understand that message yet. Phone recovery will be disabled. I'm just doing a quick Google search here to see.
Okay. Yeah, it says recovery will be disabled on this device. If you add an account, you will no longer be able to recover from this device, iPhone 14 Pro. Now, down below the add account, it says, do you already have a backup? You can restore your account. Begin recovery. Now, I wonder what that even refers to. I am quite certain I have never successfully set up Authenticator. I don't want to use it.
I've not had any problems.
Oh, really?
Never used it and don't know exactly what it's supposed to do. Are you authenticating the device in your hand, or are you authenticating using the Windows on that device?
Anytime I've used Authenticator, I've received the code on my phone.
I'm not familiar with the language that's being used. Sounds to me like Authenticator has been set up possibly on a different device, and it's recognizing that this is a different device, and it's giving you the opportunity to restore from a backup or to set it up fresh, which means you would not be able to recover that restore, which is what I think is asking you. I think it's telling you you can you can restore this device using a backup that it's found, or you can set it up and lose the ability to recover it. Does that sound in the ballpark there, Jim? You're muted, so if you're talking to us, we're not hearing you.
I wonder if it's not possible that somehow it was set up on the old computer. Good point. All right, I'm going into the Microsoft store right now. Oh, you know what? My phone is probably only a 12, 18 months old. I wonder if it's possible that it was set up, that I set it up and I'm just have no recollection of it. Because sometimes that does. That I think certainly makes sense, Scott. I can easily imagine that that would be the case. But it does seem like a very bold step to go ahead and activate that on this phone in the hopes that the failure to ever be able to recover is limited to my old phone.
I mean, you could push a backup just by going into iCloud backup and saying backup now. But it's a good, if you're paying for storage, then it's probably backing up regularly.
Yeah.
And so with that backup, for me, I would just verify I've got a backup, and then I can feel comfortable doing anything I want with the phone, knowing that the backup could be recovered and bring me back. Keep in mind, when I say this, I don't say it lightly. Restoring a backup is time consuming, and you can't use the phone while you're doing it. And so anytime I'm looking at doing this kind of stuff, I do feel very comfortable with a backup, but I also recognize that I want to set aside at least an hour or two in case I have to use that backup. Because
Boo, quiet.
Because
Boo's
it's
saying
not,
hello, everybody.
Hi, Boo.
Boo, everybody's talking to you.
Next thing you know, Boo will be talking to Christine's puppy.
Yeah.
That's very true. Okay, I just checked. Yeah, the last successful backup was at 9:43 p.m. last night.
So I think that with that in mind, if you had to, you could reset your phone back to factory settings or restore it using the backup if anything goes wrong. So I would only make sure I set aside about an hour or two, but 2 is better. Set aside 2 hours to do what you want to do in case it blows up in your face. Then you can just go back to that, restore the backup, and your phone would be back to normal. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I wouldn't.
Maybe you and I should talk after.
Yeah, certainly. I'll make a note to get a hold of you, Jim.
That would be good.
Because what the backup means is as long as your phone isn't damaged, we should be able to restore it, and your phone would be exactly the same as before you started. Right. The problem is it is kind of time consuming, so you would want to plan it so that you didn't need to make phone calls. You weren't For me, I just did the software update to my phone, and it was out of commission for an hour and a half while it was installing software and getting set up, downloading software set. And so I had it plugged in, and I was running around the house without a phone, which you feel very naked 20 minutes into it.
Yes. It does.
I would like to have a little side conversation with Sandy.
Yeah, you Mom, welcome. We're glad you're able to jump on.
Sandy,
okay.
I noticed on your whatnot counter behind you.
Yes.
You have some little statues that look like the terracotta warriors.
Yeah.
They are.
They are, yes.
And that's from Xi'an, China.
Yes.
And I've been there, and I wanted to tell you about a couple of nights ago on YouTube, I found about an hour program that gives the complete history of the terracotta soldiers. I found it very interesting.
Oh, what fun.
Thank you, Chester. I too have been there, and I would like to say that these were sent from Xi'an, but they weren't. We came back home, and there was a big sale, like a fire sale or something, only it was stores contributing stuff. And we were able to buy them for like $25, a whole bunch of them. And they also had tall General Ho, tall meaning it comes up to probably above my waist. And so we got a couple of those. We feel pretty smart because we didn't have to pay that humongous cost. But who knew we'd ever find it?
I think if you'll do a search on YouTube for the terracotta soldiers, you'll find that and you'll enjoy it very much, having been there.
Thank you. I will look for that.
Chester, so will I. Thanks.
Speaking of looking for things because of Sandy, I'm going to go back and watch Thelma and Louise just for fun.
Yeah. We didn't go over, a literal cliff, but figuratively we did a couple times.
Bill and I both
It was quite a
followed your
trip.
Bill and I both followed your posts, and the one morning I came out and he said, "Sandy, is Thelma and Louise are going over the cliff."
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, well, we didn't, but we had some experiences that made us think we were. It was fun.
I'll be right back.
Okay, we can keep talking. I want you to know it's hot up here. My house got up to 78, so we had to leave. I couldn't stand it anymore. My husband's comfortable. When he gets down to 76, he's putting on a jacket. I mean a shirt or something heavier. So I have my own little fan right here. And I just turn it on and it just blows cold air on me. So we don't have air conditioning in Alaska. Most houses don't. Although we're all beginning to think about it.
Let's go.
Well, we have been there. we have an air conditioner in our home, a portable one that we put in a couple of years ago, and Bill went to start it up the other day, and I'm still freezing. So I find it really
It's
cold.
90 degrees here in Colorado Springs, and we too, here in Colorado Springs, most of the old homes do not have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you about Phoenix?
How hot is it?
We're all glad we're not there.
I don't know, Chester. I bet you have air conditioning.
You bet you I do, and I don't go outside.
Well, I can't either because it's 90 degrees out. Now I've got my house all shut up, the blinds closed and everything, and it's probably 79 in the house, but that's still pretty warm.
I'd have to
Yes.
do some converting, but I know that this week we're getting warm, like 26, 27 kind of Celsius. But it's been so windy and cold, and the things for us the last 3 or 4 summers, it finally gets warm enough to go outside, and then the forest fires are burning, so it's so smoky you don't want to go outside.
Right.
So it's either the one thing or the other. It's either too cold, or it's too smoky, or it's too something.
Well, we've been in the 90s and we haven't used our air conditioner yet, but we installed mini splits based on our experience in Mexico,
Finally, you can get them. Where are you, Christine?
New Mexico.
So
What's
is the smoke affecting you from Ruidosa, or do you not get it?
No, I haven't yet. The winds may be not coming in that direction.
Where are you again in New Mexico?
Southeast of Albuquerque, about 80 miles.
Oh, well, and Ruidoso is what? Northwest? No,
No, it's southeast. Yeah.
southeast. So
East, southeast.
Yeah.
What is it you said, Christine, you did to your house to make it cooler?
Well, it's a construction that's thick walls and concrete and foam. And
Mini
when
split.
Yeah. But when we moved here, we didn't think we were going to need air conditioning because we're at 7,000 feet. But
Yeah.
as the summers got warmer, we don't have any ducting space. So we added mini splits for heat and hot water and air conditioning. They work great.
they're
Sandy,
very
did you-
pricey in Colorado.
Yeah. Sandy, did you have mini split in Mexico?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the mini splits are going to start being popular up here if they can figure out how to get them through the winter without damage.
But when they're $7,000 a piece, that's quite an expense.
But if you don't
Ours
have any ductwork in your homes,
Yeah.
you know, how do you get some heat moving through a house without any ductwork? That's what I never understood.
Well,
the
it
need
just,
for-
Oh,
It's
just
one
blows
room.
into the room.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
one room.
yeah, you have to have one in every room. That's why
Yes.
it gets so expensive, I think.
Well, ours
Well, my
didn't cost that
friends
much.
just put in 2, and they were $7,000 a piece.
Plus the electrical and
And
some other.
plus the they had to have a new electric panel.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to know how much it would cost to put duct air conditioning into that same kind of situation.
Well, I have ducts and I have central heat, but I do not have air.
Right. Yeah,
So
we
it's
had the
going to be
option.
probably $20,000 to replace everything with a heating air conditioning system.
Yeah, when we bought this house and we had to put a new furnace in. And at the time, the guy said, you know, we can do furnace, humidifier, and air conditioning. And we felt the air conditioning was not worth it. Now, that was in 2011. And now, you know, 11 years later, we had to go to Costco and buy portable air conditioner.
Right.
You know, so.
And I have casement windows, so that doesn't work either.
Yeah, same here. But
Well,
we have a
up
flat
here-
roof.
I'm really surprised at $7,000 for splits. Boy, that's shocking.
I thought it
well,
was
up here
shocking.
it would cost a lot more because most of our houses have hot water base, copper tubes running all around the inside by the windows, so water is circulating. So there is no ductwork as such. So
Mhm.
it's really will cost a lot up here for people to put air conditioning in. That's why I think maybe these I can't remember what to call it, what we were talking about in
Mini
Arizona or
splits.
Mexico.
Mini splits.
Yes, I think that that's probably the way people are going to save money in terms of putting that in, making it work.
I know
first-
people that have carried them across the border and have
Yeah.
gotten them into the States.
The
I've
first
seen
mini
them.
split we bought, we purchased in
Oh, you did?
St. Carlos and brought it over.
Oh,
I can't remember them costing anywhere near that in
Yeah,
San
it
Carlos.
was,
Seemed
well,
like
it doesn't.
about $1,000
cost
bucks
that much
for
in
a
San
split.
Carlos, but this is in Colorado, and it's new technology up here.
Mhm.
Judy, I'm online right now and looking up on Amazon, and they seem to run from 500 to a couple of thousand, depending on how elaborate.
Well, you
it-
need to have heat and cool.
It depends on your BTU
Yeah.
needs.
And then you've got the installation factor. So
Yeah, well, that's true.
and the
up here-
permits and the this and the that. Yeah.
Oh, we needed permits?
Well, not if you did it yourself.
Well, we did have a contract to do the first one, but so I
But-
assume he did.
but yeah, then you did it yourself.
Yeah. Nick is
So no.
handy.
Hi, Judy. I just wanted to say hi.
Hey, I thought you were ignoring me.
No, I wasn't ignoring you. I got some stuff going on here at my house.
So I had an interesting experience. So on Friday, I went all the way across town to Sam's Club. Then I came back and went to the automatic car wash. Then I went to the grocery store. And then when I came out, my check engine light was on in my car. So I just got back from the dealership. And the guy said it was a catalytic converter warning. And it once he reset it and drove it for 10 miles and stuff, it didn't come back on. And I said, well, could that be from going to the car wash? And he said, well, did you do an undercarriage wash? Well, yes, because that's what the car wash does.
Huh?
And he said, well, a catalytic converter is like a little incinerator. And if it cools down too fast, then that light might come on.
Well, that's interesting.
I thought that was not, it actually is a computer issue because they did have to put it on the computer. But I also thought that was something that I just thought it was too coincidental that I had done all these things. And, you know, and he said, probably if it happens again, then we know it really is the catalytic converter. So, but you know, it's kind of interesting that I've never heard that before.
Well, was the fix just to reset the thing? Like there was nothing wrong with
Yes.
the catalytic converter.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
They
we're going to find
reset it.
out.
they reset it. They drove it for 10 miles. They came back and they put it back on the machine and there was no issue. But the reset may have been caused by taking the car through the car wash.
Yeah, that somewhat makes sense. I mean, you've got a sensor down there that sends information to a computer, and if it gets
Right.
if it gets readings that are outside of the norm, then it pops an error in the computer.
Exactly.
Did you take it directly over to the dealer afterwards, or did you drive around for a while?
Well, no, I came home. I was on my way to the dealership, and the guy that I was dealing with said, you need to take it in for service. So today was the first day that I could get it in. And I have driven it some, not a lot, not like I normally would because I didn't want to screw up something. But when I ran the report, it said it's an emissions thing. So, because I can run the report on my car, and that's what it told me. So I thought that was very interesting.
What kind
And
of car
course,
is
I've
your
got
car?
a car wash plan that I just subscribed to. So it's unlimited car washes for $10 for the first month. And so now I've got to go and say,
I love
I don't
that
know.
feature.
yeah, really.
What
I think it's kind of rare that you lose a converter or inverter.
A catalytic
I'm sure
converter.
it's quite expensive, but I've never heard of anyone losing one.
A
Oh.
catalytic converter?
We
Oh, they
lost
lose
one.
them all the time in Colorado Springs because they're stolen.
Yeah,
but this was not my
Yeah.
case.
Yeah,
And
they're
Chester-
stealing them all over, but I just have not heard of one going bad.
Yeah, we had one go bad here in Mexico with a Mexican car, with a Japanese French Mexican car. You know, it's a Nissan built by Renault, and we had that went out, and it was so expensive to replace. They gave us some Mexican replacement that is common in Mexico.
Well, and my car has 12,000 miles on it. It's not like if it's a failure, it's a
manufacturer failure. Yeah, it needs to be
and
covered
it
from the
is a
dealership.
warranty issue.
And
And
I'm
it's warranted for 80,000 miles on that particular part, he told me today.
Good to know.
I thought, wow.
I'm looking at some general information here, and it says that typically if it should have reset itself after a number of drives. It's not very clear, but it says like 50 to 100 miles should have invoked it to reset that without having to
And
put it
I
on the
may
computer.
not have driven that far because I probably have only driven it 30 or so miles because, again, the check engine light is on the dash, and I don't want to screw anything up. So,
And that light comes on for so many different reasons too.
Yes.
You guys will probably remember if you don't get your gas cap shut sealed,
Yes.
and that 50 to 100 miles makes a lot of sense because after you get it sealed, you're still looking at a check engine light for quite a while before it finally recognizes everything is fine.
and the my advisor did tell me. I said, well, what happens if it comes on again? And he said, well, as long as it's not flashing, you're not going to hurt anything by driving it. Just call me and I'll order a new part for you.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it really was kind of a huge annoyance for me.
Oh, especially brand new car too.
Yeah, huge. Especially since I just had a big tree cut down and then another of my neighbor's limbs cut off for major money. So I just I really wasn't thrilled.
Sounds like us. We got back to New Mexico and our boiler broke again. So we decided to buy a new hot water heater because it was combined and a new boiler for our radiant heat. So that
So separate.
Yeah.
I'm going to
So if
rename
one
today's
breaks, then I don't
session.
have to replace both.
That's probably it. Oh, and then my deck, the guys came out to look at it, and this is definitely not computer, but they said, and my deck was built in the 80s, 84 or something. And they said, really, you need to replace all the posts are good, but the joists are not.
We're dealing with a little bit of that stuff around here. We did last year, and we've got a little bit more to deal with this year.
It's something. It's always something.
Well, I was going to say I was going to rename our club to the Appliance Rant Club because we have two appliances that are failing on us right now that we're going to have to repair or replace. A stack washer and dryer, two of them, because we have one in two different apartments. One, the dryer's not working. The other, the washer's not working. So as you can imagine,
like combine those two and buy one.
You can
They're
if you don't
different
mind running up
products.
and down stairs. That's exactly what we're doing. We're combining the two.
Wow.
But what I wanted to mention is we called our appliance repair guy, Dave, and I haven't talked to him before, but I was given the phone number to call, and I get this voicemail message. I get a voice greeting, right? A voicemail greeting that it probably is just under 5 minutes long, and he goes in great detail of all the different devices that he fixes and all the different devices he doesn't fix. He goes into great detail of the difference between what he's able to fix for you as his customer and what he can't do anything about. He goes into great detail in who is responsible for fixing that kind of stuff, and he gives phone numbers for those people so that you're not bothering him with stuff that he can't fix. I just thought it was a really interesting way to qualify your customers.
And did you call someone else?
No, because he is
Oh,
the guy
really?
that fixes these things. Yeah, because our units are old enough that they're within his realm of ability to fix.
I have something I'd like to report on.
Go ahead, Chester.
I've done a report on this before, so it's a kind of reminding everyone of the situation that happened to me twice this morning. I was on Facebook and I happened to click on an interesting post, and I got this message that said your computer is locked up. Do not shut your computer off and call this phone number. Well, of course, what I did is I shut it all off. I started back up and it was working great. I went back to Facebook
and ignored that article.
And I was looking through some different things, which are always interesting. And I clicked on another one and it got the same signs back again. And it told me, do not shut down your computer. Of course, that's exactly what I did. And it's working fine.
Okay.
I just wanted to remind you that if that happens to you, don't hesitate to shut your computer down all the way off.
That is good advice, Chester, but the fact that you're having it on reoccurring with this frequency makes me think that it's not the article that you're clicking on. That quite possibly it's being sent to you from a web server out there that has been given permission to send you notifications. And that would be happening randomly. It wouldn't happen with any it would be sporadic and random.
And it only happens in Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that I think you need one more experience, and then I would avoid Facebook and just try and use the internet and not have that experience. And it could
I enjoy Facebook.
Well, yeah. But what I'm saying is you want to pull Facebook out of the equation to determine whether you're getting, because if it is coming to you through Facebook, then those sites should be reported. So you should go back to those sites and you should click the report link and tell Facebook these things are trying to load stuff into people's computers. Well, but I would suggest that because it's happening, it was a different article from what I understand from your story.
Yes.
Well, it's statistically that's hard to imagine. And what is easy to imagine is that at some point while you were using the internet, a website popped up with one of those generic messages saying, do you want to accept notifications from this website? Whatever they've said, you may have inadvertently clicked yes. And after that, heck, you don't even have to, I'm thinking about it now. I remember a piece of malware that was going around a few months ago. You didn't have to click yes. They were popping up messages in front of you that seemed very legitimate, had nothing to do with notifications. And when you clicked what was appropriate, then it got the message to allow these notifications to come into your browser. If it is what I'm thinking, or the potential what I'm thinking, they would be browser dependent. So you'd have a different experience in, say, Firefox versus Edge or versus Chrome, because that permission to send you notifications must be set in each browser. For you to have the same experience, it has to be in each browser, which means that if it's browser dependent, you should be able to switch browsers and not have problems opening those same articles. I'm trying to just give you a few tools to try and sort out what's going on. This problem that I'm describing has become a fairly standard problem on the internet. And I've had to go into people's web browsers and shut this thing down. In fact, I'm happy to take a moment and screen share where you go to shut this stuff down in a browser like Chrome. I don't know which one you're using, though.
Chrome.
You are using Chrome. If you guys want, I'll take a moment and just show you what I'm talking about.
I would appreciate it.
Yeah, and Judy, you have your hand up. Is it related to this, or should we talk after this? Judy? Judy?
It's about that CDK Global that was hacked.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that in just
So
a
after.
moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm sharing with you, I hope you can see our document. But what really matters is that you can see this web browser. And I'm going to go into the Chrome settings here under my profile. I'm sorry, 3 dots. You got to go to the 3 dots. Down at the bottom is settings. And that brings up this separate tab file. These are all your settings. To be honest with you, I never remember where things like this are. So I go to the search at the top of the settings page where it says search settings. And I would type in notification. You'll see you can't even get it all in there before it's found it. And where it's flagged it in yellow, it sees one result here under this. And I've got, let me move my toolbar, 3 results under site settings. And this is what you're looking for, site settings. So I'm going to click in there. And I'm still doing the search. So I'm going down here looking for the next time it finds notifications. And here's the notification setting under permissions. So under permissions, we're going to click on that. And right
What did
here.
that say back there?
Oh, let me go back. Which one? This one right here? Don't allow.
I see the notifications don't allow sites to send. Oh, okay.
Notification.
Got it.
And that's
I see
how
it.
I have it set. So I click in there and I come in here. Oh, and this is devious. They haven't put the check mark in here, even though you saw that it was set to don't send notifications. This is what you want to make sure is set. Don't allow sites to send notifications. Now they've written this. This isn't as bad as the previous language. The previous language made it, you read it as though you were turning off capabilities that you would want to take advantage of. And so every time you read it, you thought you were doing it wrong by saying don't allow.
So would you uncheck that for a second?
Well, I can't uncheck it, but apparently Google can.
Okay, because if you look.
See, I can choose to send. Sites can
no.
ask to send notifications.
Okay, but this answers my question is, if you look down to Facebook down there, it is highlighted.
Now we're in my browser.
Yes, I know.
And
look
I
at
haven't
Facebook.
I haven't cleaned these up. This is everyone that's not allowed to send notifications. So before I just said everyone's not allowed.
Okay.
This is individual sites being blocked. And
Okay.
this is what happens is every time you go to a site, it'll say, hey, you want notifications? And if you're paying attention, you're like, no, I don't want notifications. And they put a little check in here. Now that I have this set, I actually don't need any of these. These are just left over from not cleaning up, not doing my housekeeping. All of these can be removed because this one check here is doing the same thing. And you want the one check. This whole notifications garbage came about when they started building websites as progressive web apps. And I don't know if you remember, we talked a little bit about progressive web apps in the past, but essentially what a PWA is it's a website that can be formed into an application on a mobile device or on your desktop now because these platforms support PWA. That means that they don't have to write a new app. Mom, I'm sorry you're coughing, but I'm hoping you'll mute your microphone. Thank you. I'm sorry you're coughing. I hope you're feeling okay. Well, the progressive web app allows you to use a website as though it's an application in your device. And this is happening all over the internet now. But for it to act as an application in your device, one of the things that is needed specifically for mobile devices is notifications. Thank you, Judy. And so they modified their web browsers so that this notification section exists. And by default, it's set to ask you for every website that has the ability to send you a notification. And this would be, you go to Gmail and you're getting Gmail from a website. The Gmail app can tell, the Gmail website can now ask to send your computer notifications saying you got new mail. You go to the Skype website, not the Skype app, but the Skype website, and it'll ask you if you want to receive notifications. And that way, when the website, whether you're on it or not, gets a phone call from your Skype account, it will send a notification to your desktop computer. It'll pop up as a notification going, you're getting a Skype call. If you were to click on the notification, it would open up the Chrome web browser and it would take you to the Skype page and it would instigate that call for you. This is no different than what you've been doing with apps on your phone when you get notifications from Facebook or notifications from your messenger or even the simple notification of a text message. It's the same concept, but they've blanketed the internet with it. And
1 minute.
You did it?
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to open up the other meet just so we're ready to go. You guys can shuffle over there and I'll let people in. But so, Chester, I would go into this settings of your web browser and I would double check to make sure that that notifications is off. I would also look to see if there's a list like the one I had previously. There's a good chance there is. And the addresses that you find will probably be addresses that you're not familiar with. They'll be strange, weird internet addresses. If that's the case, oh wait, let me get Chester in here. I hope Chester can. Were you still listening to me before you moved over to this meet, Chester?
Yes. But I would like to ask you if let's say I go into Chrome and I click on the 3 dots. What was the next thing you clicked on?
Yes. So I'm sharing my screen again here. So if you go to the 3 dots, the More menu, and you go down to Settings at the bottom.
Okay.
And I don't think you should worry about navigation. Remembering navigation seems like a really bad way to use your brain. So I use the search at the top. And in the search, I put in the word notifications. I do this in every web browser because every web browser has a settings page and it has a search function. And so I don't have to remember where this setting is. I just have to remember how to find it.
It was the setting click that I missed.
Yeah. So to give an example of a different web browser, let's go to Firefox. Come on. I'll bring up a Firefox window here. Where'd my conversation go? There we go. So I would, same concept, different place. I would go up to a More type button. I would go looking for settings. This is the Firefox settings page. Up here in the corner says Find in Settings. I type notification. And I would scroll through here. Permissions, notification. You see how it's flagged the find here? So I'm going to go into settings for notification on Firefox. This is the language. This is the language that makes you concerned about turning it off. You see this I'm really disappointed that Firefox has used this language. Block new requests from allowing notifications. Now they have explained what that means down below, but most people don't read the explanation. They would read block new requests, and they would think, "Oh, I'm taking away features. I'm losing I'm losing options when I turn this off." Psychologically, that's what people see when they read something like that. Block new requests. But this is the feature in Firefox. You'd put a check mark in that, and no website using Firefox would ever ask you to receive notifications. Now, I know it's a little
Scott,
convoluted.
wait.
Yeah, Judy.
When I go into my Firefox browser and I click those three little bars, there's no place that I see
So go.
that allows me to do after I go to settings.
I've got it on my screen right now.
I see
settings.
And when I
then
click on that,
up here, find in settings.
okay, let me go back and see what it's doing here.
This is the general
Okay,
page.
I do not have that at all.
You don't have a find in settings?
I do not.
It-
I have set as default browser. I have sync now. I have accounts. I have.
You're sure you're in the general page?
Okay, I'm going out of it. Done. So I'm in Firefox, and I click on the three little
Bars,
doodads,
yeah. And then
and
settings.
then I go to settings,
I'm following you on my screen.
and there it is. There's no search.
It should say general. Does it say general?
No.
Does it have a column on the left that says general, home, search, privacy, sync, more from
No.
Mozilla?
No.
Are you sure you're in Firefox?
I'm positive.
Why don't you go?
Oh, maybe I'm not. Hold on. Let me go totally out of Firefox. Hold on.
It
I'm
should
going
say
totally
Firefox.
out.
It should say Firefox in the bar at the top.
Okay, I click those three lines beside the search bar, and it goes new tab, bookmarks, blah, 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 settings, the little gear. I click on that, and it does not do that.
Up at the top, does it say Firefox?
No,
It should.
it says settings.
No, I think
I'm
you're-
on an iPad.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be different.
Yes, it is different.
That would explain why you're not seeing it the way we're seeing it.
Right.
Let me see. I've got an iPad, but I don't have Firefox installed in it at the moment. Why don't we table that, and I'll find
Perfect.
out if it's the same.
Okay.
Or if it's supposed to be the same. I would suspect it's not supposed to be the same.
It
though.
is definitely not the same.
Yeah. iPad. Oh, in fact, I would imagine that the iPad actually uses the Apple WebKit engine. So it's not actually Firefox, not yet. It looks like Firefox, but the underpinnings are the Apple web motor called WebKit.
Okay.
And that would probably explain why the settings are different.
Okay.
iPad, Firefox.
And I'll see if I can figure it out too, because it doesn't look anything like that.
In fact, I'm thinking about it now, and I know where it is in the iPad. It's in your iPad settings under the notification setting.
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to.
And it's for the whole app.
Let's see. Okay, I'm in that. I'm going to notifications. And screen sharing, notifications off is what I have there.
Okay, well, you would want all notifications off for Firefox.
So I need to find Firefox first. And it says allow notifications is off. Yes.
Allow notifications is off. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So you are not suffering from this kind of problem.
Exactly.
In fact, it is a little questionable whether you would suffer from the same problem on that platform versus the Windows platform, or the Mac platform, because the iOS platform is so secure. It'd be very difficult. You'd have to go through a number of different hoops telling security not to be secure before you can get something into your computer. And the idea that it could be taken over is foreign to those kinds of devices. So it would be a hard sell to somebody using an iPad. Like if that came up, don't turn off your computer, the very first thing you'd be like, I'm not on my computer, I'm on my iPad. It's a very hard sell. Whereas when you're on your desktop computer, it's much easier to believe the lie. And so that's where these things are focused on. So you can see from my screen share that Firefox does it differently. Web browsers like Microsoft Edge are Chrome-based, but they also do things like settings different. This is, oh my God, don't you just love opening up Microsoft Edge? There's so much crap in here. I didn't ask for anything, and I'm inundated with pictures and articles, and then you open up Chrome and you get a blank page going, do you want to search? So, Edge is based on the Chrome browser. There is 3 dots up here in the upper right-hand corner, settings. This is what the Edge settings page looks like. Same philosophy. Here's a search in the settings right at the top of the left-hand corner column. And I do notifications. I gotta spell it right though. And it's flagging the same things found. There's a profile. I don't think that's right. Services, get notifications of related things you can explore with Discover. Wow, that's something completely new. I don't know what that is. Allow sidebar apps to show notifications. That's a whole new thing. I don't know if you guys are looking at my screen, but here on the right, this is the sidebar apps over here in Edge. All these represent some different tool that's been added to Edge. The most significant is the top one, the Bing Chat GPT-4 search right here. And this setting must be related to that, is those apps, do you want them to be able to send your computer notifications? I absolutely do not, so I'm going to turn that off. Here we go. Oh, wait, no, this is still not what I'm looking for. Here it is. All permissions. We're in Edge. All permissions. There's a notifications. Ask before sending. This is more weasel language. These are weasel words that are taking advantage of people's psyche. Ask before sending. This is recommended. Of course I want to be asked. I don't want you to just do stuff. But if you turn this off, will block if turned off. That's what you want. You want these blocked. So you don't want to be asked. You want them blocked. I don't even want you to think it's okay to send me messages. I don't want the message about getting messages. So you can see those are 3 different web browsers, 3 different ways to turn off the same problem. And what's more infuriating is there have been in the past malware floating around the internet that will stick those sites, those goofy sites that you won't recognize, into that list of allowed sites. On each of the web browsers, it knows how to do that too. So you could be on Chrome and you could come across one of these malicious pages, and Chrome, I'm going to turn off my screen sharing here, and given the right circumstances, it can set up those malicious site for notifying you in the other browsers in your computer. So then you're getting notifications from Chrome, you're getting them from Edge, you're getting them from Firefox, because the malware understood how to set this up. Now, keep in mind, all of it's been created as inconvenience for you. Nothing has been stolen from you. Nothing's been locked up, right? It's all meant to trigger an emotional response, just like Chester's message. It's meant for you to get hyped up and call that number to find out what's going on, and then they take it from there. These people are experts in social engineering you on the phone. The last thing you want to do is end up on the phone with them. They will convince you that they are supposed to be helping you. Don't let them. It's the same goes for junk mail. Don't go into your junk mail. Every one of those messages has been set up to convince you to make a bad decision. So don't even go into it.
Now, what if there's a place where you do want notification? For example, every time I get an email, I would like to know it.
I'm going to treat this like an Apple question. I know you don't want notifications. You do not want notifications, Chester.
Okay.
You don't. You are a much happier, healthier person.
No.
Yes.
You
yes.
want to know when you get a message.
Maybe on your phone, but not on your desktop computer. Not if you have not set up your own email client. Not if you're that kind of user. What you want to do is you want to check for your email in the morning and see the new messages. You do not want your computer flashing up to you every time an email message comes in. It's not safe and it's not healthy behavior either.
Okay. Got it.
On your phone, on your mobile device, it's a different deal. You need messages to come in.
I get that.
Yeah, you're trying to make decisions. That's where you expect to see notification. I would argue though, you don't need notifications from your web browsers. That's a granular conversation that we could have. You want notifications from your instant messengers. You want notifications from your iPhone mail program. Those are the things, but you don't want them from your web browsers, because when you go to your web browser on your phone, you still expect it to be a web browser. You don't expect it to be an app. You expect to be looking for a good restaurant in San Carlos. You don't expect it to, when you're not paying attention, to be sending you notifications from websites you visited. So I would say whenever a web browser is involved, you don't want notifications. I'm giving you advice to keep you out of trouble. That's why I'm being so firm with it. I think that's a great topic that deserves discussion all the time. Yeah, Judy, go ahead.
Okay, this is about that CDK Global.
Oh yes, yeah.
Hack. So at the car dealership this morning, they were having to handwrite every single word on a work order because their system is still down. And this started, I think, a couple of days ago, and they have been told that will take another few days to fix it. They're asking for quite a bit of money to release it. Tens of millions of dollars, it says.
I wanna Google this. What did you say it's called again? CDK?
Charlie David King cyber attack. Shuts down auto dealerships across the U.S.
There's a Russian software that the U.S. government has just yesterday or a few days ago turned it off so that it can't be used in the United States.
Right. But this is the black suit cyber crime gang that supposedly has hacked this.
I think that's the one that's involved. I think the U.S. government shut it down.
So it says that CDK Global is a software provider. Yes. But it's affecting Thousands of dealerships. No.
Yeah, we there was a story a while back. I mean, it was like a flash in the pan. It was like a wildfire. Some journalists started doing research into people that were having insurance rates changing randomly. One month they were paying one thing, the next month they got a notification saying their rates were going up. Some of them were getting notifications that their insurance was canceled and they had to find somebody else to get insurance. It didn't make any sense. And one of the people in the article actually started calling around and could not get automotive insurance. No one would sell him automotive insurance. Now, I mean, you can joke about what a bad driver, they wouldn't insure him and all that. I mean, that's a whole other side of things. He probably should be a more conscientious driver. But the issue wasn't that he was in accidents and they've decided not to insure him, or that he's got a drunk driving conviction, or that he got caught driving without insurance. None of those things prompted this. What was discovered through the research is that he was using a car system that was keeping track of his driving habits. And when he bought the car, the dealership helped him set up the app because they're supposed to give good customer service. And they want him to be able to use the infotainment service. They wanted him to be able to use the mapping and listen to Spotify in the car. And so he let them set it up. And I would imagine the people helping him in the dealership didn't understand what they were doing. But you can bet when it comes to the privacy issue, it's a check here to use the software, or cancel and not use the software. And so they just, giving good customer service, check the privacy, hit the OK button, you're good to go. Your phone's connected. Now you can use Maps. Now you can use Spotify. You can even keep track of how far you've gone. You can integrate these apps. What wasn't known at the time was when you gave that permission, the automotive manufacturer has gotten permission to sell your data to a data broker. And that's how they were supplementing their income. Companies like Ford were supplementing the amount of money that they were making off of the sale of the car by selling the data that the car is collecting on you after you have okayed the car to collect your data. Now, this has already been going on, and you're probably starting to remember this conversation because we've talked about it a few times in club. When I talk about it, people always bring up, but I can get lower insurance rates just by putting a dongle in my car and letting them see what kind of driver I am. And I would say that's perfectly fine in this conversation. That's exactly what you do want. You want your insurance company to disclose, if you put this dongle in your car, we will give you cheaper insurance rates because we can see what a good driver you are. What happened to these folks was they didn't know it was a virtual dongle, and they didn't know they were installing it in their car. And so when Ford decided to sell, I keep saying Ford, and honestly, somebody has to fact check me. I don't remember which automotive industry manufacturer it was. So
I really don't remember it being Ford because I would be hyper alert to Ford.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember which manufacturer got caught doing this. But I do know that more than one had to publicly come out and say that it was no longer a practice because they were taking such fire over this article. Because they were selling information that was things like, does this person brake aggressively? Do they turn without using their turn signal?
They were checking speeding.
That is speeding. Do they speed? They were checking all these things, Chester. They were so even though he never had a speeding ticket, never had an infraction, nobody witnessed him braking too quickly. They still gathered the telemetry and they sent it off to insurance companies to determine the rates of this driver, even though they'd never had an unsafe experience, or at least, yeah, a documented unsafe.
So, Scott, it says your driving data may be sold to insurers. General Motors admits.
Ah,
GM got caught selling its drivers' data to insurance.
it was GM. So
It is not Ford.
yeah,
You retract everything you said about Ford.
I do not, because
Okay.
because as soon as GM came out and admitted and changed their stance, I remember there were 2 other manufacturers that had to do the exact same thing before they were caught. But I don't remember who they were.
GM. I would guess GM. That's why I never buy a GM. Ever.
Me either.
It's all that tracking they've done throughout the years. Back in
It's
the
like
70s, it really bothered me with the van.
Progressive Insurance, they go, oh, but we've got such great rates with Progressive. I say, yeah. Okay, perfect. Wait till you do something wrong and then you'll be without insurance. That's just my opinion.
Well, in this case, the big difference is
owned by Soros.
the big difference in this case is did you go after a dongle to bring your insurance rates, or did you go buy a car and want to use their infotainment center, and now that is affecting your insurance rates? That's the big difference in what's going on. Progressive could send you a dongle that keeps track of your movements, and they're using that as the reason they're giving you cheaper rates than your neighbors. They know you're a good driver. You brake when you're supposed to, use your turn signal when you're supposed to, and you've allowed them into your driving experience so that you can get those cheaper rates. Nobody consciously allowed these companies to know how they drive, and that's why they got in trouble. And now I can't remember why we were even talking. Oh, I know why we were talking about this. So this is a hacking group, right, that has put this hack out and has shut down dealerships across the United States.
Shut down their computer systems so they have to do every single piece of paperwork by hand. At least that's what my advisor told me today. He said, I'm really sorry, and it may take longer than an hour to finish everything up for you.
So that sounds exactly how hackers would be proactive hacktivism.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like that sounds exactly, because they can't shut down anything but computers.
Right. And it says on one of the Bloomberg or somebody that it's like a $15 million ransom attack.
Wow.
Yeah. Or maybe, I don't know. Don't quote that, but it was a lot of money. Anyway, everybody have a good weekend. Bye.
See you, Judy. Well, that's a great topic. And I think it's something we constantly, in this world, we have to be very aware of. It's the reason our TV sets are so cheap now. They're doing the same thing. They're tracking all your viewing habits. TV manufacturers have turned into data brokerages. And I told you about our experience with a new Samsung TV. There was no way to take advantage of any of the TV features except hooking up a DVD or a set-top box of some sort. We couldn't cast to it remotely. We couldn't use apps. We could have it connected to the internet, but we couldn't go beyond that unless we signed up for a Samsung account so that they could track our behaviors with the TV. So if you're wondering why a 4K 80-inch display can be sold to you for under $1,000, it's because they subsidize all that money with your data when they sell it. I'm putting Judy's article in here. And I think I'm going to save these other articles that we didn't get to for next week in case they're still relevant, unless somebody wants to talk specifically about one of them.
Adios.
We'll see you, Chester. This is kind of, we're winding down the meeting. What we typically do is we give recommendations. So for movies, TVs, apps, or TV shows, apps, websites, books, anything that one of you folks thinks the rest of us should know about, this is the time to do it. Christine's got her hand up. What do you want to recommend, Christine?
Well, I read the Wymus Chronicles.
Oh, that's a fun book.
I couldn't get it in the Kindle, so I'll bring it with me when we come down, and anybody can borrow it that they want. It was kind of fun. But I want to recommend Lilyhammer on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. I haven't thought about that in a while. That's a great show.
And Black Sails, which is about pirates and stuff. Yeah.
That one,
Sandy likes that.
Is that the one with John
I like
Malkovich?
the bodies in that one, Sandy.
What was the title?
Black Sails.
Yeah.
Is that the one with John Malkovich?
No,
No?
it's not.
No.
I don't remember the characters in it, but I mean the main actors. But they're real cute, the boys
Yes.
anyway.
And that's on Netflix. And then the last one is White Collar.
Oh, another show. I watched the first few seasons of that when it was new. That's a fun
Christine,
one, too.
I missed the first one. I got Guaymas Chronicles, which is the book, and read it years ago, and I have to really refresh my memory about it. But anyways, and then the first series that you said?
Lilyhammer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That one
It's
where
a
the
takeoff from one of the main characters was in
The
I
Sopranos.
can't remember the name.
The Sopranos, right?
And the
it's
actor,
sort of a
is
spoof
with
takeoff
Bruce
of that.
Springsteen.
yeah, the actor is the one that is he a bass player for the E Street Band with Bruce Springsteen?
And he sings too.
Yeah. And so they gave him this show after all those years as working as a mafia guy in The Sopranos. And this is a story of a mafia guy moving over to Norway. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. Norway, and starting a life there. And he's supposed to be, what is it, like witness protection? Or he's supposed to, he's just supposed to keep his head down. And he just ends up getting involved in all this mafioso stuff because it's what he knows.
Yeah, he's a fixer.
He's like a New Jersey or New York mobster doing things in Norway. It's a great show. It's really
is good. Yeah.
It's funny and violent and intelligent in the way it's written.
True.
Yeah. Have we got any other recommendations out there that have to be put on today's computer club? You guys watching anything, reading anything? Nothing. Cheryl, how come you don't have anything?
Well, we're in the process of trying to clean out, declutter, and sort. So we've been spending a lot of time garage sailing our stuff. And then when nobody comes to the garage sale, we pack it all up. We've made 3 trips to either charities or there's a hodgepodge lodge in our town where they take stuff and they sort it and it's reused as crafts or whatever. And it's all free. And so we've been busy doing that and preparing for our grandson's graduation on Friday. So
cool.
our first high school grad coming up on Friday. So haven't been watching very much. Bill and I went back and started watching The Big Bang because we'd never watched the series at all. We're not into watching TV series when they're on TV. So we went back to season 1 and we've gotten all the way up. I think we're in the middle of season 5 now and enjoying it. We watch 2 or maybe 3 episodes a night after the news. And so.
I always think of shows like The Big Bang or Community's another really good one. I think of them as like comfort food. They're just really easy to put on the background. And
well, the characters are so cool in Big Bang, and I've really become to like what's his name?
Howard.
Howard, the Jewish character. In this season, he's really coming into his own, and I just love his wit and his comment. So.
I have
Has
one
anybody
comment.
watched The Bear?
Yes, it's good.
Are you
It's good.
leaving,
I'm gonna
Mom?
give-
I have to go. Got
Okay.
an appointment.
Okay.
Bye,
See
guys.
ya.
Me too.
Week.
Anyway, one comment about Big Bang. Every once in a while, I get wrapped up enough in it that I would look at Sheldon and say, "I just killed the bastard."
I can't
He would
put
be
up with him
dead.
anymore.
Oh Jesus!
Well, we have different perspectives because I can relate to him a lot.
No shit.
Maybe that's what bothers you about him.
That could be. I told Cheryl last night we were watching an episode where he faints. He had cut his finger or something.
Oh yeah.
And I said, I love the way he faints. It's kind of like a snake. He is an excellent actor. If he can bring in that much emotion from me, then he's doing a good job.
Hey, I want to recommend a show that I just got turned on to. It's a little odd. It's on Netflix. It's called Eric. Eric, the name Eric. In fact, I've got it on my.
So I usually steer away from things that have the word thriller in them because I don't like horror type. But I've found that they use the word thriller to mean more scary kind of situations than they do horror, blood and guts and zombies. So yeah, or if you think about a thrill ride, a roller coaster excites you and scares you at the same time, where a horror does something different. Yeah. So I've come to accept the term thriller on some of my choices. which which I've never watched. Okay, well, what you Strange never watched, Star Trek, no, but you did say something about Sherlock, and I think maybe I've got it now. But Jim's got something, but he's muted.
I just wanted to remind everybody that Benedict Cumberbatch groupies call themselves Cumberbatch bitches.
Well, I didn't make a good biker bitch, and I'm
They
still more like a
self-identify.
Sherlock wench.
Yes, he is. The
Brokeback?
Revenge of the Dog. Something was Revenge. Oh yeah, he is an excellent actor. Alan Turing. He played Turing, Alan Turing in the Imitation Game, right? Oh, Power of the Dog, right? Yeah, if you haven't seen that, Cheryl, trust me. Yeah,
Put it down and put a circle around it.
And Marvel should feel fortunate to have him as part of their what do you call it? Their
Entourage.
yeah, entourage. I was gonna say something more horse related. Stable. They're stable of actors. Yeah, they should.
Yes.
They should feel honored to have him. He is a real actor that's having fun in Marvel movies. Well, Jim, you got any recommendations? Or did we just do it, The Power of the Dog? I'm going to write that one down.
I actually got started on a Netflix limited series entitled Who is Aaron Carter?
Okay.
It's playing right now. And I'm on episode 4 of a 7-part series, which is surprisingly good. There are no big names.
If you think it could be serious, ask me to call emergencies.
That was Siri. I'm sorry, girl. Anyway, it was surprisingly good. It started off slowly, but by the end of the second episode, I realized I'm going to have to see the whole thing. So I would give it
I'm looking at
recommendation, not a resounding recommendation, because the jury's still out in my mind, but I can't stop watching it. That's it. Yeah. She has a couple of aliases that are germane.
I always enjoy seeing your faces, and Jim, I'll get a hold of you as soon as I can, either right after this or not much longer out in the next 15-20 minutes.
Just a quick,
I appreciate it.
a quick note, Scott. I tested out my microphone on the iPad with video voice memo.
Yes.
And it doesn't work very well.
It's still muddy, right?
Yeah, well, it's very faint.
Yeah,
So-
I'm afraid there's some hardware damage to your microphone.
So what kind of coverage, or do they fix that kind of stuff, or?
If you've got the Apple Care, they do.
I'm not so sure we don't, but
Well, I think it came, well, we have to look at the date of purchase and everything. I can figure it out.
Well, and you know what else is that you might do some research on your own to find out how much it costs to fix a microphone. Depending on the AirPad or the iPad, the microphone could be a board that also has a camera, also has sensors on it, and all they do is replace that board, and that could add to the expense. It could make the expense higher than you would expect it to be. But I would compare the price of getting it repaired versus buying more Apple Care if you don't have it, because they allow you to buy more Apple Care. The other trick with Apple is if you have Apple Care on some other device, like say you have an iPhone that still has Apple Care, there's a good chance they'll apply that Apple Care to your iPad because you still have Apple Care.
I'm trying to think, I think that my phone is the most recent, because we got these two iPads together, and then I think my phone we got after. So it would be my phone is the most recent purchase.
Well, I would first find out if you have Apple Care. I would also find out how much a microphone repair costs if you don't have Apple Care on that device. In fact, on the Apple devices, you can go into your settings and it'll tell you your Apple Care status.
Where, Scott?
What's that?
Where would we find it?
Oh, if you go into, let me do it on mine. Go into settings and let's see, where the hell is it? I always run into it. Oh, you know what I could do is I could just do the search at the top.
I did. I don't know where it is, but it came up and said
It's
all of mine are expired.
It's under coverage, which is under about. And it lists the device you're on and the other devices that are on the same account and tells you their coverage status. Like I've got all these Apple devices registered in my account. Yeah, every one of them says coverage expired.
yeah.
Did you start in general?
Yeah. You got to go. Well, actually, I start from the search. But what you would do is you go into general, you go into about.
Oh, yeah. General at Apple Care and Warranty. Actually, it's underneath about software update. Number 3 is Apple Care and Warranty.
Mine
Get
says
that.
coverage expired. And I
Yep.
can click on that. And it tells me what my service options are.
So it says paid repairs and service available, chat and phone support available, and then Apple support, we're here to help. Now, is that like a chat?
Does it say coverage expired?
Yes, I got coverage expired at the top, but then
Okay.
it's got some service options and one.
So what you could do is you could chat with them and explain the problem, and they would give you a price. Is your Apple Care completely expired, or do you have other devices with Apple Care?
I'm on my phone, which I say is my most recent.
Okay, somehow, I mean, the way that Jim and I just did it, it's not listing all your devices, but we had a list of all the devices. So what I would say to get there...
You have to go back up to the account, like to the family plan or whatever.
Hold on a second. I think
I went through general.
Apple Care and Warranty. So you go general, like Jim is saying, and then you drop into the second grouping, which says Apple Care and Warranty, and that'll list all the devices.
Oh, coverage expired, coverage expired, coverage expired. I see.
Okay. Here's the deal. I don't use the microphone on there very often, and it's not worth a whole lot for me to do that. What I might consider doing is, can you use the the little plug as an external mic.
You can. They have specific products for that. I mean, but you could also use a Bluetooth mic too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But that, see, I don't use the iPad.
You do for FaceTime.
That's about the only time I use the mic.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you made all.
It's not something I can't live without,
Hmm.
and I'm not going to spend a bunch of money finding out.
Well, and it might be worth it to find out about how much. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because once you get it on one, like you say, the other ones can attach onto it. But mine just has my 3 that have my ID.
yeah,
Yes.
and I'm not guaranteeing it, but it has definitely happened to me more than once. I have called about an Apple product, and they're like, "Oh, you don't have Apple Care on this," and then they go through the file, and they're like, "Oh, well, you got Apple Care on this iPhone, or you have this Apple Care on this," and so we're just gonna do it under that. And
Okay.
And so I don't know if that goes as far as a hardware replacement, but if you have Apple Care on something, they're at least going to be helping you work through what's going on with this one.
Twice when we've been in Vegas, we've made appointments with the, what do they call the team inside the Apple Store? The, not support, specialist.
Oh, the Genius Bar?
Genius, thank you. Genius Bar. So at the and I know that they always tease about that in Big Bang. So anyways, the Genius Bar, you make an appointment there, and we can take in 2 iPads and 2 iPhones, and they'll help us through, an error on each of them, kind of thing, or they can get us going on things, and it's well worth time at an Apple store, if you ask me.
Yeah. All right, guys, I gotta say goodbye. Until next
Same here,
Tuesday,
guys.
everybody tech on.
Take care. Thanks. And I'll talk to you later, Scott.
Yeah, very soon.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Cheryl. Well, hey, guys, that's it. We did it again. That was our Tuesday meeting. Didn't even get to the topics that I brought, except, just cursorily. I got stuff going on over here, so I've got to call it to an end. Until next Tuesday, all of you in Internet land, you tech on, and we'll be back Tuesday at 10 Arizona time on the same YouTube channel. And if you want to join our group, just look for the notifications on sccclub.org. You can get into one of our meetings if you'd like. I guess that's it. I'll talk to you later.